And we are back. Welcome back
Hey.
to the Book Club Bros.
Yeah, take it
Welcome
slow.
back.
Take it slow.
There it is.
Welcome back, guys. If you are new, welcome in, welcome in. We just got finished reading the first part one of the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Whew, 23 chapters. Was a little beefy.
It was.
Little once we
Easy,
said
though.
that, we said 1 through 23. We're like, but we did it. We made it, and yeah, like I agree. I agree with Miguel said. It was honestly not too bad.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 chapters in there were like 1 page.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's a murder mystery, guys. So, um, overall thoughts on the first part. Stepping into the book, a little confusing. How we thought, I honestly was a little thrown off by just figuring out the dialogue between it. So if you guys are reading along, it kind of starts off with Joyce, and then I don't know. I think it took all of us a little bit to know that when it says Joyce, it's a diary narrative
Mhm.
compared to like the narrative.
It's a
the
journal
entire,
entry.
Yeah, it's a
essentially.
journal
Right,
entry.
right.
So that kind of threw me off.
Yeah, I didn't learn that until we were done reading. A few days later, after I
Yeah,
realized
bro.
that.
Yeah.
I literally
Until we
marked
talked
it.
about
I forgot what page. I think it was
Wait,
like
you
on
realized
page
it?
Yes, bro. It's like somewhere in the middle of our reading, I finally wrote bold print with Joyce is journal entry.
Dude, it's
Like I
right.
just wrote it.
It's there. It's so obvious now to make it think like, why would I read chapter 23 and go straight to so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, why was that not connecting?
Well, you know what threw it off for me was
Good.
like it started off bold,
Yes.
and like
Ah.
then it went into normal font, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize.
Yep.
And so then I had to read,
Yeah,
kept
'cause it
reading,
starts
and then it
off-
went back to bold, and I was like, wait a second.
Well, it starts off as a journal entry and then
Yeah.
it goes to chapter 2. Is it every other chapter? I didn't even know it's not because chapter 3 is not a journal entry. So she only journals whenever there's been enough context, it
Yeah.
seems,
Yeah.
to make her own journal entry.
Yeah. Honestly, I
That's going to make this next section so great.
easy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I wish. Like,
But it was
it's-
good.
Yeah.
It was a good part. So I thought it was interesting. I'll start us off in the beginning, right off the bat. This first little passage. Killing someone is easy. Hiding the body now, that's usually the hard part. That's how you get caught. I was lucky enough to stumble upon the right place, though. The perfect place, really. I come back from time to time just to make sure everything is still safe and sound. It always is, and I suppose it always will be. Sometimes I'll have a cigarette, which I know I shouldn't, but it's my only vice. And I was like, interesting. Okay, was that like a little
Dude.
snippet, little sneak peek of like who the murderer is? But I didn't understand.
Oh, I didn't
that.
even think about that. Dude, reading that portion of it, like it took me literally back to English class where they're like, write a story and like and I, for whatever reason, like I guess I had read enough stuff like that. Like that was like my thing that I could do. Like
Mm.
you could just give me something, like just make up a story or write something, and I could just like but it returned to the scene of the crime, but you would have never guessed that this is what.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I would be like doing all that stuff and like hadn't even said anything about what was going on.
Mm.
So that's kind of what that part like just reminded me of like setting the scene of a book
So
like this
funny.
after reading so many books like we had read.
Yeah.
It was almost like tough in the beginning to be like, you're reading this for like the story, not to like learn from it, like
Yeah.
just to enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
it's just a different type of reading.
So let's just start off. Chapter 1. It's a journal entry. I immediately put some notes. I actually wrote notes. Did you guys actually take notes?
In
I-
the second half, like of the reading, after like page 40, that's when I was like, okay, let me start jotting stuff down.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, just reading it out. Like, okay, so this is Joyce. Immediately, I go suspect Elizabeth
Yeah.
on there.
Oh, you wrote suspect Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I wrote the first thing since now that we know it's a journal entry, it makes it even more authentic because obviously you're going to tell your truth in your journal. You're
Mhm.
lying to yourself if you're not doing that. So she says, she's kind of like talking about just the opening of the book, and she said, always remember, I won't always remember everything exactly. I might as well tell you that now. Like, so there's certain things where she's saying like where you're like almost actively discrediting yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's what I noticed kind of throughout the reading of this book is like everyone is like saying something. Oh, just so you know, whenever this happened, I was a little drunk, or whenever this happened,
Mhm.
like just certain things where it's like they may not be giving the whole truth of the story, just
Yeah.
their side of the story,
Mhm.
which is something that I kind of noticed.
Yeah, and then also I think the other thing we found out about in chapter 1 was Joyce is a nurse, something to know as well. And then
I didn't know that either. I was like, the way this book phrases stuff, it'll go on about it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I should tell you,
yeah,
I'm a
Right.
nurse.
Yeah.
That's why they're asking me." Like, I'm sitting there like, "What is her profession?" I didn't even realize the establishment that they're in. They
Yeah.
don't even give that away till later on too.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that? What in
Yeah.
the world is this
So
place?"
chapter 1 just like once again, it was like another book where it just kind of throws you right in the middle of it. You're like,
Right.
what's going on? Introducing. So chapter 2, kind of figure out another big character. It seems like is Donna, which I agree with Landon. The same thing kind of happened. They never really say exactly what she is until very later. Because I wrote on there, I was like, Donna likes the hunt, kind of like a cop. And then it turns out she isn't.
She's a cop.
She is a cop. But so yeah, so on this now we figure out. Looks like the setting is Cooper Chase Retirement Village home. So everyone's in there is a retiree of something.
And it's like the first of its kind. Like, is basically how they're describing it. It's like this, where this
like a
place where
resort.
it's like a
Mhm.
resort. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. It's like assisted living. It's like a luxury retirement home. Is
Yeah.
basically what they say. Where you're not to that point where you need assisted living yet, but to the point where you got all this money and you just want to go to a luxurious place.
Mhm.
Like a resort, like a permanent resort, I guess.
Yeah, so and then I think it just kind of so chapter 2 kind of brief summary was basically they were kind of just introducing Donna, how she was explaining like to all the people the thing you do's and do nots. Like I thought it was really funny when it was like
Are you on page 12? Is that what you're
I
talking
think
about?
it was either page 12 or where they start mocking her.
Yeah, I had a little highlight that I had whenever they were like kind of going back and forth. Apparently, like she's a PC, which is like police something. I don't know what the C stands for.
I thought it was like private. I don't know something.
So,
Yeah, but yeah, she's
whatever.
she's a cop.
But like a PC, but she's a woman, so they put WPC. And
Well,
apparently,
yeah.
like that's offensive, and they were
Yeah.
doing this whole thing where they were like, "God save us from the window locks, WPC de fritas," and she says it's just PC now. And then Elizabeth was like, "I see, and what happens if I still choose to say WPC? Will there be a warrant for my arrest?" Like, you see, there's so much like passive. It's really though like a picture of how you'd expect super super rich people to interact with each other, right?
Yeah.
Super. I don't want to say snobby, but like whatever it is, just a bunch of people who are used to getting whatever they want or being able to kind of probably mess with people. And she goes, what's going to happen? Will there be a warrant out for my arrest? And Donna goes, no, but I'll think a bit less of you because it's a really simple thing to do and it's more respectful to me. And Elizabeth is like, damn, checkmate. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm just being mean for no reason and this person seems to not be bad. So that was a funny interaction there.
Yeah, so it seems like all right, is this chapter 2 still, right?
That was
So
chapter 2.
now
Then
it
it
kinda
goes to 3.
introduces more of what we eventually know is quote unquote the kind of the murder club. So then we also get introduced to I think it's Ibrahim, Elizabeth, Joyce, and Ron in this. So Ron seems to be the like feisty firehead firecracker. Joyce is like the chill
The
back
boxer,
nurse.
right? The boxer.
Yeah, the
Ron Ritchie.
yeah, and then Elizabeth is kind of the investigator, instigator, and Ibrahim is like the smart guy.
Yeah.
Is what you're kind of getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like their brains. He
Yeah,
just hangs
Elizabeth
out.
has all the initiative. She's
Yeah.
the one
Yes.
that's like pushing everything,
And then
driving.
Donna's the cop.
Yeah.
So, moving on to chapter 3.
Back to a journal entry.
Yeah. Is it a journal entry?
It is. Don't miss it. See, you miss it the first and the second time. Chapter 4, right? That's what you said.
Chapter 3.
Oh, I thought you said we were just in chapter 3, weren't we?
No, we're in chapter 2. Chapter 3.
Confused.
Chapter 3, I got the only things I got from
Oh,
really
I don't have any highlights. That's why.
Oh, okay. Chapter 3, the only things I really
was
got
funny.
with this was we got introduced to the owner of Cooper's Chase, which was Ian Benham, who was and Tony Curran, and the developer. And basically from there, we also know that next to Cooper's Chase was a Catholic church that sold the land, and Ian's taken over. And that's what I got from chapter 3. And then it goes chapter
Then-
4, a diary entry.
Got the diary entry on 4.
And I thought it was very interesting that they like so Joyce like talks about Penny. Penny's Elizabeth's friend. But then like where she like did she get sick? Is that why she can't? That's what I kind
That's
of
what it
got.
is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what it is. Is she's like still part of the club for inclusion, but can't really contribute as much anymore. Maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah, so then I think chapter 4, the only things I got from that was Joyce has a daughter. That's
Mhm.
why she's in there
Mhm.
because she's broke basically, named Joanna, who's
Yeah.
super ballin', and that's why she's in Cooper's Chase.
Right. Yeah. She's like the. She says the one person basically that kind of sticks out there because she's being paid to be there. All these other people are super wealthy. Had all. She even probably highlights it earlier on. I think about all these experiences that Elizabeth has had, like gone to Europe, gone to all these places, and she hasn't been to any because like that's not her money.
Yeah,
So it's like she can't even relate to these people, and there makes her
Yeah.
feel even like more of an outcast.
yeah. So I think it was
Okay.
actually a very long journal entry.
On page 21, I actually thought this was an interesting like insight that I took from it. So they're kind of talking about Ron and just like kind of his mindset. And on the middle of the page on 21, it says Ron had all but invited himself, which won't surprise you. And they're talking about invited himself to like the Murders Club. And he wasn't buying Japanese opera one bit whenever they were putting on that front. He saw the Jigsaw Room on Thursday morning, wanted to know what was afoot. Elizabeth admired suspicion above all else and invited Ron to flick through the file and all that stuff. And then she soon spotted his key strength, which is namely he never believes a single word that anyone ever tells him. Elizabeth now says that reading police files under the certain knowledge that the police are lying to you is surprisingly effective. I was like, ooh, that might be.
You think that's some foreshadowing there?
But
See-
I think that's some real life in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. See, right? We're in this fictional little fairy tale land, and all of a sudden, my brain snapped out of it and goes, Elizabeth now says that reading police files under the certain knowledge that police are lying to you is surprisingly effective. I was like,
can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
in the
Can't
book
trust
or in real
anyone.
life. Gosh dang it.
But
no, I
that's
thought,
why like further on, that's why I feel like Ron's kid, like I don't. It's hard to say
oh,
that.
so we're already placing stake? Dude, that's
Hey, bro.
all right.
I was gonna say at the very end, let's play some stakes on
Yeah.
people that we
Okay,
know.
I'll
okay,
save my
okay.
comments for
I like
then.
that.
But chapter 5, yeah, we got a lot of chapters to go
Yeah.
through, but we'll fly through them. So chapter 5, really, I think we start knowing who Ian is,
Mhm.
and to me, pardon my French, but he's a total dick.
Yeah, he is.
Total dick.
Yeah.
Literally goes, they quote him on this. He's going to order some coffee, and he goes, "Is all your coffee fair trade?" And the smiling young woman says, "Yes, all fair trade." He goes, "Shame," says Ian. He doesn't want to pay an extra 15 pence to help someone that he'll never meet in a country he'll never go to. Cup of tea, please. Almond milk. Like, he just wants the cheapest thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they say that Ian's biggest worry right now was for Tony to kill him, because we find out that he's basically trying to fire him
Mhm.
and just to
But
make
it
even a
honestly-
quick buck.
Like, and it honestly feels like it almost fits like that almost. Obviously, we've come a long way in society, but it almost feels like it was almost in line with stuff. Like, if you fire this guy, you know he's gonna try and come after you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, it almost feels like that's not much of a thing anymore. But I can almost reason to be like, hey, if you fire this guy, he's gonna try and kill you. Then why would you even try and go through with it? Unless it was just like, hey, this is just business is business.
Yeah.
It's just what we do. Hopefully, he like,
take the risk, I guess.
yeah, right.
I also kind of like that this was kind of like the story was pretty recent. Like a
Mhm.
lot of things that they reference, it's not like old.
Yeah.
no, It's
I was confused about that at first.
Yeah,
So
I was
was
like
I,
reading
dude.
something, and I was like,
what time period is
yeah,
this?
it's like very recent. Like
Exactly.
definitely like not. I don't
that's
even
why.
know
That's
when
why.
this was
Does
written.
it tell us where it's taking place at?
Somewhere in the UK for
Right,
sure.
exactly. So that's
but-
what it is. It's so culturally different from like just the set, from just like how
Right.
it seems.
Yeah.
Right, because
So
if
this
it's more if
was
it's not as old,
2020.
yeah. So wait,
you-
wait, that's when it was written, or that's
Yeah,
when the time frame
It
is.
was written.
That's what I
2020.
hate about books, man. That doesn't mean that. When
But
is this taking place?
I'm assuming. I mean, it doesn't seem like everything seems pretty up to
I mean,
date.
they
No,
got
'cause-
phones.
they mentioned like him pulling up in like a BMW X7 or something like
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is.
I don't know.
Fairly
Don't
recent.
know enough about cars. Is that a new car?
I feel like it. I mean,
Oh come on.
I mean,
the X7.
It might
I
be.
mean-
He might be right.
well,
Yeah, I don't know
BMW
anything.
alone, like,
Yeah.
at least we know it's not like he's saying like horse and carriage.
Right,
When
yeah.
did BMWs come out though? Were they
I
fairly
mean,
early?
no, it's been a while, but
Yeah, that's what
Let
I
me
thought.
see
But-
this real quick too.
I also had a good quote that from I think Ian says it. Big is the same as small. There's just more.
There's
of
just
it.
more of it. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good one.
I highlighted a few quotes too. It was on the last chapter, but at the bottom on like page 21, it said, "We all have a sob story, but we don't all go around killing people."
Yeah.
Like there's just some funny
Yeah.
stuff in there too.
And another thing that makes it so recent was like this quote that I saw. Like this morning, he had to try and buy a stab-proof vest, but the same-day delivery option had
Oh, it had
been
Amazon,
unavailable.
right?
Yeah, why
Dude,
does he pay for
that's
Amazon
right.
Prime? They must think
Okay.
he's a fool. I read that. I was like, yo, what is this like?
That's funny.
It was like I know, like I can't
Actu-
believe that was like the first thing I referenced. I was like,
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. I was
Bro,
like, okay.
You're right, because part of me thought that was like from last book that I read Amazon Prime, because that does kind of date it or give you a date for it.
Yeah.
Amazon, yeah, if you're talking next day delivery.
So,
they've been doing that for a minute.
Wrapping it up, we also figure out Ian. He sometimes will go on a limb and make it just what it, just he'll do an action just so it looks good
Mm-hmm.
for publicity, like the llama thing. So
Wait,
now,
explain the llama thing. I did not get that
You don't-
too much.
so he got llamas he figured out llamas or how to and put llamas on the property on a hill or something for the photo.
Yeah.
And now it's uncontrollable. There's so many llamas and he can't get rid of them.
Oh.
So there's just llamas roaming around.
Oh, okay.
on the property
that
of
was
Cooper
it.
Just
Chase.
to like make it seem a little bit nicer,
Yeah.
more appealing.
Yeah, it was like a PR stunt
Yeah.
that just gone wrong. And he's like, you live, you learn.
Yeah.
He just kind of let it go
And
just
then,
let it
yeah.
materialize.
And I think the other key point that we got out of chapter 5 is Tony Curran, the developer, the one that actually built everything, now owns 25% of everything that he built at Cooper's Chase. I think that was a good point to
It's important.
just
Yeah.
bring up, just put some stakes on it. Anything else for chapter 5 you guys have, or any summary?
The next couple chapters are pretty short too.
All right,
Yeah.
chapter 6. I honestly had nothing really taken away from it. I think it was just mainly about just Ron and his son, maybe.
He brings up Donald Trump at the end of it, which is funny. Ron starts
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think this is. Are Ron and Ian were going back and forth? I can't remember exactly. Wasn't anything too important that we got from it. I got from it at
Yeah,
least.
no, I don't have any highlights from this one.
Okay, and then chapter 7, just one chapter. Basically, from what I got, that is, in summary, it looks like Ian wants to expand. I think this was a dialogue between the father of the church
Mm-hmm.
and talking to Ian and going back and forth about like, the father of the Catholic Church doesn't want Ian to expand, and Ian doesn't care.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh, this is where Ian actually comes into the room and talks to everyone about the consultation of what they're gonna do. In chapter 8, and that was just like, basically stating, like, hey, this is what we're doing. If anyone has any issues, go pound sand, because this is what we're gonna do. But this is our consultation that I need legally.
Right.
Then we figure out that Ron has a son, Jason, who is a famous boxer,
Yeah.
was a famous
Yeah.
boxer, is a famous boxer.
I think he
That's what we
was.
got.
He's not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. Now I thought this was interesting that in the middle of it, or right after, Jason goes, love you too, Dad, but I got a little errand.
Mhm.
Anything I can help with? Ron asks. Jason shakes his head. Boring one, won't take long. He stands and stretches. You haven't had any journalists ringing you up today, have you? Should I have? Asked Ron. Something up? Nah, just, journalists, but no calls, no mail, no or anything. I had a catalog for walk-in bass, said Ron. You want to tell me why you're asking? You know me, Dad. They're always after something. How exciting, says Joyce. I thought that was interesting. Why?
That is the intro. That whole conversation.
Yeah, he was
Kinda
like
like
there,
just
and then he
went
was
right
like in a
by.
rush. He's like,
Yeah.
gotta go.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah,
notice
and then also, I think was it in chapter? I think chapter 9, this is where he and Ian and what's his name? The developer,
Tony.
Tony. I think this is where he gets fired, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. So, yep. So Ian went back and forth, didn't know if he was gonna fire Tony or not because Tony might kill him, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it in a public place right after the meeting, outside, right before I leave. I'm gonna fire him right there.
Yeah.
So then Ron noticed, or no, everyone noticed.
Yeah, because they said it was peculiar.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
the word they
yeah,
used.
just
Everyone noticed it. He got fired. Then they went their separate ways.
Yeah.
Then Tony gets in his car and drives off, gets all heated, goes home, and then the murder. Tony goes home, sitting on his in his kitchen, and someone smacks him on the back of the head, bludgeons him, and the killer places a photograph on the worktop at Tony's Curran's fresh blood begins to form a moat around his walnut kitchen island. So Tony is dead.
Yep.
Who was expecting Tony to die?
Not me.
I was not expecting.
Yeah.
You think he was gonna die?
No, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I
No
didn't
idea.
think that was gonna happen.
And also, we found out that Tony has a weird past, that he started this whole construction business to hide his drug money that he was doing. But he was making so much money
Oh,
with the
right.
construction that he's like, you know what, I'm going to stop
Just went
doing
clean.
drugs and just actually do it legit.
Yeah.
But it was so weird. I did not expect Tony to die. So, yeah.
Didn't they talk about his wife a little bit too? Like saying how
Oh.
I don't remember what part that was, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
his
interesting.
wife
But-
Debbie is not back, but that suits him fine for now. It gives him time to concentrate,
Mhm.
really think all through.
Wait, so Tony was gonna definitely go kill Ian, right? For being fired, for firing him, right?
I mean, it says
That was
Tony
the dialogue. That
Tony
was the
Curran is going to
anticipation.
kill Ian.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a
Yeah.
given now.
Yeah.
I 100%
Surely-
thought he was gonna die. You guys didn't think he was gonna die?
I did
It's
not.
almost throwing me off. You don't think the person that was actively about to go kill someone wasn't gonna be picked off first? That is the first thing I thought of. So maybe that literally is just right where my mind went. Was like someone's gonna kill. I didn't even think that Ian was gonna die. I was
Right.
like, of course he knows that this guy's
I
gonna
had-
try and kill him. Like he's gonna try and kill this guy.
I had a
probably.
feeling Ian wasn't gonna die because he was saying like, "Oh, I
Right.
might die from Tony."
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, I'm gonna
He's
catch you
aware.
there."
Yeah.
Like he's aware,
But it-
Right.
but I did not expect Tony to be the one to die.
That's
Right.
kind of my brain just went straight to I think that he's gonna die, but I don't think it's gonna be Ian because that's too simple. Unless
Right.
it ends up being Ian, and that'd be a lot of reading.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't
right,
think
that's
so.
what I'm saying. But that's what
It's
I was saying
hard,
too. But it
bro.
was the first thing I thought of. I was like,
Yeah,
Ian's not gonna die. I think Tony's gonna die because
interesting.
he's get. I don't know. That's just what
Ian's
I thought.
got to keep the
weirdly.
story going.
So
Yeah.
moving on,
That
we
might be it.
finally
Yeah.
get the
He's gotta
murder.
keep the story
This is the
going.
murder of probably the entire story. Maybe there's more. I don't know, but
That's the exciting
so
part.
yeah, chapter 11 kind of starts off. People start knowing. I highlighted this fire quote, and it said about just like old people and waking up, and it said many years ago, everybody here would wake early because there was so much to do and only so many hours in the day. Now they wake up early because there is much to do and only so many days left. And I was like, damn.
What a minds.
I was like, what a perspective change right there.
Perspective. Dude, there's some like little quotes in this like mixed in. I had one like back on 40 where it says Tony is not a believer in luck. He's a believer in hard work. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Yeah.
An old English teacher of his once told him that, and he never forgot it. If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then I think we find out also in chapter 11, very quick, Ibrahim was a psychologist. They might have mentioned that before, but that's what I put on as another note.
Mhm.
It's just like trying to get some background on everyone. And then chapter 12. So now it seems like that happened. Everyone woke up. There's been murmurs that there's a murder. And then now we're going into the perspective of Donna, the police officer, and how it's going on, what's going on, like from the police standpoint. So we find out that Tony left Cooper's Chase. Is right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Cooper's Chase at 2:00,
Yep.
and died at 3:32. So there was an hour and a half time in between the death. And after that, I think she's talking to like the sergeant or the head of the the
Chris.
investigation, Chris.
Yep.
And then at the very end, so if you guys don't remember, the murderer left a
Left the
photo,
photograph of the body.
and there was nothing about. That's all we heard about it. Now flipping to chapter 12, find out that Donna recognizes that the photo had 3 men on it. It was Tony and 2 other men. Donna looked at the photo and she recognized one of the men. And that's all we know. We don't know who she recognized, but she knows she recognized men. Now it goes into 13, was a diary entry. I didn't really get anything from that for Joyce, but just more, I think, background knowledge about, like, she was just logging exactly what happened when they found out that Tony was bludgeoned.
You can tell she feels more important by her last line. She goes, "I've become someone who who has to keep their mobile phone on."
Yeah.
Like, you can tell she's becoming more involved. It's like, it's kind of that sad, like, you know, you can tell she wants to help, but she's like the least qualified, maybe, or the least
Right.
Motivated.
Yeah,
to maybe
it seems
do,
like Ron, Elizabeth, and Ibrahim, like, do this every single day because they
Right.
are in the Murders Club.
Right.
And then Joyce just suddenly got almost invited into it. Yeah.
she's like the moderator, probably.
Yeah.
That's probably what she is.
But moving on, 14. This is, from what I remember, this is kind of where the Murder Club starts investigating a little bit.
But they also talk about, this is kind of more so where you see Penny and you learn of her condition. Like, "How are you, John?" Penny's husband says, "Oh, you know, I do know, you always know where I am." Like, he starts to say, what was it at the end of this chapter where it kind of puts a bow on their situation? Like, she knows that he talks to Penny when she's not there. Oh, here it is. Yeah. It's like at the end of it, it describes their relationship and how it seems to be getting worse and worse. Like, back to the holiday tickets and the old photos and the memories he had of Penny and he shared for 50 years. She knows that he talks to Penny whenever he's not there, whenever she is not there, and every time that she walks in, always after knocking, she notices fading white prints on John's hand on Penny's. So he's back to his book, although he seems to always be on the same page. So she's like, you know, he puts on a front like he's reading and he's doing okay, but he's always holding on to her, and then people walk in, he's away. You can see the fingerprints kind of receding. Like,
yeah, so basically 14 was kind of like just Elizabeth hitting up Penny,
Just
going to
yeah.
visit her, and just kind of updating her on the whole story.
But it makes you think, right? And that's why reading a book actually really makes you have to engage, because it's like, this is a book, so everything was written for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I almost like, if you're reading certain things and you're trying to learn, you'll read a sentence, it's like, oh, okay, that's not important to me. But in a book, it's like everything was written there for some type of reason.
Now,
You'd have to imagine, right?
I do have a feeling though, some things are gonna throw us off.
Oh, yeah,
You
I
think
feel
it's
like
intention-
this type of book is gonna be like he intentionally is gonna put those red herrings in there
Yeah.
just so you can go on that spiral.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, that was kind of like a little side. We figure out a little bit more about Penny. Penny has a husband, John. Sad story, sad situation between them. And then another diary entry. This is where, okay, so now it kind of shifts. Now Joyce is gonna go visit her daughter Joanna
At the
in-
vegan shop.
in the downtown.
Yeah.
In the downtown part, and like the downtown city area, I guess. Is what I got from 15. Just a little bit more background knowledge on just like people who she's on the bus with, you know, saying that they always take a bus every single day down.
It kind of like sets it up for what they're about to do, because 16 is
Yeah.
where it gets interesting.
Yeah. So moving on, 16. This is where, okay, so Joyce is going on the bus and Elizabeth joins her randomly, wasn't expecting. Right. And
Randomly.
yeah. But
Right, because then
Elizabeth had all the intention to do it.
Right, Elizabeth did, and Joyce didn't know. It was random to Joyce.
Yeah. So now we figure out a little bit more about some of the bus driver, and basically from on the way there, I think Elizabeth, I would say, convinces Joyce to, hey, now we're gonna go to the police station, and
I need you to help me with this plan
Right.
to be able to see this detective.
Right.
It's all like very calculated, right? And Joyce starts to realize that too, because I think it's in the next journal entry, so I don't want to talk about it too much, or maybe it's on the line, but she's like, you know, the more I think about it, that trip may not have been for me. that trip might have just been for Elizabeth the whole time. But you know, even then, I still had fun, and stuff like that. But this is where you see them create that whole scheme to be able to see to get to DeFritas, right? Is that her name? Donna
DC.
DeFritas.
Donna, yeah.
To be able to set up that whole like purse, the whole not don't have my bag type plan, and you see how calculated it really is, because I guess
she's very calculated.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she thinks it all out. So in order to be able to see this, so just to paint the picture really quick, she's trying to get to this detective. She needs to talk to this detective because they want to be involved on the case of this murder of Tony, right? They know what's going on, and they're like, hey, I know you guys are investigating it, but we want to be part of it, and they want to get like some inside intel and be able to kind of work with this lady. And they see the opportunity because she's a woman police officer, so it's like already thought of as in that space. It seems like in this space, it seems like not as one of the higher ups. So being able to work and be able to talk to her, just makes for an easier path. They think that she's like the weak link. It kind of seems like the only person that'd be willing to let them in on it.
Well, I think she's the only one that really visits Cooper's Chase to like provide them just like typical knowledge. So they're leveraging that relationship that she has, that she always visits, and also to get her on the case, which they eventually do. But yeah,
Yeah, because they send out the one guy to Ron, and they like play the whole card of we want to. I think that's later on in the segment.
exactly.
Like
That's what I was about to say.
Right.
So yeah, Elizabeth springs this on there. Joyce basically on chapter 16, page 53 goes like, we're going to investigate the murder, she says, and Elizabeth just goes straight up, of course we are, Joyce. But yeah, so then fast forward, I think at the end, basically Elizabeth makes that elaborate plan to go into the police station and fake cry and say that her purse was stolen. Her purse was stolen, and she needs to speak to a detective. And then she frames it, I'm only comfortable speaking with the women.
Well, they bring her to a guy first,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, what is it? It's Joyce's idea to say she's a nun.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the excuse.
She's a nun.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
Joyce's idea to be like, she needs to talk to a woman. She's a nun,
Yeah.
and whatever. It's so funny because then you fast forward, and the first thing that DeFritas says whenever they end up getting in front of her is, "You're a nun now, huh?" Because they actually know who she is already from
Yeah.
going to the place.
Yeah, and then I think so. And then the last part of chapter 16, they kind of just let Donna know, which is weird. They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna be put on this case," and Donna's like, "There's no way I'm gonna be put on this case," and be like, "Don't worry about it. Ron and Ibrahim are already taking care of it." And then it jumps over to Ron and Ibrahim, where Chris, the DCI Chris, is visiting Cooper's Chase, asking questions, and then they investigate Ron and Ibrahim, and this is where it gets very interesting, I thought, because we find out that Tony, the local builder, walked away scot-free in a lot of his dealings, but he was a drug dealer, and that's what they have on him. And then since 2000, though nothing, a speeding ticket promptly paid in 2009, Chris looks at the photograph the killer had left by the body. 3 men. Tony Curran, now dead, with his arm around Tony, was a local dealer from back in the day, Bobby Tanner, hired as muscle. Whereabouts currently unknown, but they would track him down soon enough. And the third man, whereabouts very much known.
I'll go get that. You guys.
Doggos. Go get him. Sick him. And then the third man in the photograph is the ex-boxer Jason Ritchie, which Chris wonders what the newspapers would pay for this photo. And he has heard the officers doing this, and the lowest of the low as far as Chris is concerned. So Chris seems to be a stand-up guy, but now we know the 3 men in there. So it was Tony. Around one arm was his drug dealer buddy named Bobby, and now we also know next to him was Jason Ritchie. And I thought that was a big bombshell.
Yeah.
On like, okay, so Jason Ritchie versus sketch about leaving early to do something. Doesn't say what it is. Ron's son, Jason, is who we're talking about. And now he's coming up in this photo again. So that it seems now showing that Jason and Tony have a relationship somehow.
I don't, but it's like one of those things where it's like, man, they made it so blatantly obvious.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
It's like,
There's no way. This should be like a 100-page book.
yeah,
You know.
Because then it's like, okay, if Jason did do it, well, first off, it says Ron. Early, they say Ron's strength is he never believes what anybody's telling him.
Yeah.
So obviously when Jason's like, oh, like I have to go do something real quick, you don't want to be involved, it's kind of like okay,
Yeah.
sure. But I don't know, that's I feel like that's what just makes it tough, bro. They give it to you so blatantly that it's like because
Doubtful.
somebody could have just randomly found that picture in his house and like just put it down there just to just to throw the detectives off. So
Maybe. And then like also so in that chapter as well, they convince Chris to put on Donna on the team, I think. Right? Cuz like because Ron and Ibrahim wouldn't talk to anyone but a woman.
Yep.
And that's how Chris was like, "Oh, okay, no worries. We'll put her on and have you get questioned." But I thought it was very interesting also on chapter 17 at the very bottom. So all that about the photo, about now knowing that Tony is affiliated with Jason Ritchie, the boxer. They leave it at the very bottom. They said basically saying, "Don't hold on," because they're like, because who took the photograph?
Yeah.
They're like, who took the photograph in the first place? And I'm like, oh, okay, very true. I didn't even think about that because they all like whoever took the photograph also has a relationship with Tony, and also I keep forgetting his name, Jason.
Detective work.
Yeah, Chris. But moving on to 18. I think this jumps back to the interview with Donna, Joyce, and Elizabeth. Basically, just kind of getting their knowledge on what they kind of knew about Tony or anything.
And this is more so when we kind of do a lot of bouncing around.
Yeah.
We were talking about stuff earlier, but this is more so when they have that conversation about like, do you want to be on this case?
Okay.
Do you want to be on the case? Like,
Yep.
This is when they say, if you agree to this, all we need you is to do this. Ron and Ibrahim are taking care of the other
that's
stuff.
right.
Like
That's
that's
right. I did
when
jump
that
ahead.
conversation
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Oh, and then so then fast forward. Yeah. So now Chris is visiting Ron and Ibrahim. Chris recognizes that Ron is Jason's, the boxer's father, so he knows that he's somehow affiliated with Tony somehow, and they just trying to convince Chris to get Donna on the investigation, and then it goes into 20, which is another diary entry from Joyce, and the only thing I got from that was a summary of Cooper's Chase is for the rich. Joyce is a nurse that was only able to live there because of her rich daughter Joanna.
All right. I highlighted this little portion just because I thought it speaks a little bit to like just how it's. I like the Joyce journal entries because she's very like she shows the progress based off of like her view of what's going on.
Yeah.
And like you can tell she's starting to not want to say like grow, but like be almost more excited and more interested as this unfolds too. I thought it was cool on midway 20. She goes, "I do hope I'll be of some help to Elizabeth in the investigation, help to catch Tony Kern's killer. Perhaps I will in my own way. I think I have a special skill. Is it that I'm often overlooked, or is that a word? Underestimated, perhaps." So she's like, that is an interesting thing. That, like she's lurking in the shadows and stuff like that. Whenever you have all these other people like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and she's just kind of watching back, observing and stuff like that. Looks like we got someone else here. Better go check on that.
Looks like FedEx again.
Who in the world?
Oh, busy. This is why we do podcasts in the morning.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then I'm trying to think. 21. We're just talking about. I think we just find out a little bit more info Oh, 21, it kind of goes into, it kind of dives into a little about Ian. And, oh, that's right. Ian's son is, we find out Ian's son. Okay, no, this is the dialogue between, um, I think when, this is where now the Father McAfee and Ian go back and forth about saying, like, everything's done.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So he was talking about like, yeah, this is gonna happen regardless, and like he was talking about how other people they would take care of the bodies
Oh, yes,
that are
yes.
being moved.
Yeah, and like Ian, yes,
Oh, being
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then at the very end of the chapter, it just shows. Yeah, that's right. This is the meeting between
Mm-hmm.
Ian and the Father
wanting.
Mackey.
That was a. I'm glad you brought and that's what the entire thing was about.
Yeah.
Was just basically this father's, opinion and he's a resident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's a resident,
assuming
I
so,
believe,
yeah.
and he's like, I've been here forever, and this is the way it was. This is the way I feel like it should be. It's that typical story of like, well, this is how it's always been, and then it's the power hungry person like, well, this is what it's gonna be now, and we're gonna come and take it
Yeah,
over.
and I forgot another thing to mention also that Ian, before all this, owed his, I guess, someone else named Bogdan,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and he's the one that is coming on as the new developer once he fires Tony.
Yep.
Because he was cheaper, that's why.
Right.
So now Ian and Bogdan are together. Now, yeah, they have this conversation with him.
But the way this thing ends, it just shows you like, obviously Ian is just worried about his bottom line. Like at the end of it, he goes, also Tony died, so it's a difficult time for everyone. Adds Bogdan, crossing himself, and he goes, yeah, yep. Also Tony died, difficult time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yep, yeah, Tony died, yep, difficult time. And then it's like, basically, you can just see that it's one of those conversations where you're watching it play out, already knowing like this guy's not moving. Or he's not budging.
Yeah.
Like it's like falling on deaf ears, essentially.
Yeah, and he's gonna say exactly whatever he needs to do to
like
get.
What we're gonna do. I
motive.
hear what your concerns, and we're gonna work for those, but it might end up going this way.
Yeah,
Is
no,
how
he'll
it
say
felt.
whatever you want to hear, but he's gonna do it his way. And then Joyce has a haircut.
That's chapter 22.
Yep, Joyce has a haircut.
That's what you took from that page. I took from.
Well,
we got a Nicki Minaj reference.
It's
on
what
that
I'm
page.
saying. That's what also reference it. Joyce jiggles. You'd like that Nicki Minaj, or what did she say? One day I'm just gonna dye the whole thing. Joyce says Anthony. You send out here bright. Send you out here bright pink. Joyce giggles. You look like Nicki Minaj. You know Nicki Minaj, Joyce. No, but I like the sound of her.
Hey.
Says Joyce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So yeah, this is just basically dialogue between Anthony, the hairstylist, and Joyce, and then Elizabeth is spying on Joyce.
Apparently,
Right?
she was waiting
Like,
outside,
waiting on her?
listening on the combo, and
Eavesdropping.
Yeah. Which Elizabeth, man, she's just,
apparently
like,
she does that a lot, though. So.
Yeah,
Control. Very controlling.
yeah, super weird, but yep. And then 23, ending it off on another diary entry.
This was a lengthy entry.
Yeah,
for
Was
sure.
I
a
mean-
entry. I think this might have been when I finally realized that Joyce. This is a diary entry. It was like long enough.
Yeah, and I think that it was just a summary of everything now.
Okay, here's another thing that I will bring up is like she goes about this whole dialogue, right? And while she's doing this journal entry, and she's talking about everything from her vantage point is basically why she does these journal entries. But she finishes off, so she goes, so I'm putting today in my pocket, and I'm off to bed. Bang, that's the end of her journal entry. And she goes, I will just finish by saying that back at Charing Cross, I nipped into Mark's and bought a couple of gin and tonics in a can. Elizabeth and I drank them on the train home. And it always, like, whatever these are, that always makes me think, like, they're always a little inebriated or a little bit off to where it's like, what is reality
Right.
and what is like, well, this is what I thought happened. But maybe, I was a little bit off or something like that. I had a little too much to drink. And then I keep on picking up on those because I feel like there's a good amount of them.
Yeah.
Of
And
like,
also,
It's definitely got to be something.
right?
yeah, and then also like it is seem that like these diary entries are almost like a summary, and she's like talking to us, not like herself, because like she goes, if today was anything to go by, this whole murder investigation is going to be an enormous fun. It has been a long day, and with whether it's got us any closer to catching Tony Curran's killer, I'll let you decide. Like, I think that's referencing us, the reader, not herself. But yeah, it's very interesting. And then that's it. That was the first part. So
Yeah.
man, that was a lot.
It was.
But I think we got through it, and honestly, it was an easy read to me.
Yeah.
So we got Tony.
Like I said, it's gonna get easier. And talking about it honestly, like I already feel like I have a better understanding a little bit
Yeah.
Right.
of what was going on
And
now too.
I think that goes with everything.
That's
Yeah.
what
When it comes to all the books, just what we remember.
Yeah.
So that's why, guys, you should definitely buy the book,
Buy
catch
the
up, and you'll actually remember what you're hearing because you'll be listening to us talking about the same thing. And we also do these live, so we'd like to have you in the comments as well.
And if it's an easy read, if you don't know if it's a journal entry or not, imagine how easy it's gonna be now that you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, all right. So summarize, wrap up. A lot went down. Seems like now we're getting everything down. Donna's gonna be their investigation. You got Ron. You got Abraham, Elizabeth, and Joyce as the murder club. Donna's gonna feed the information. Chris is the head guy, good guy. Tony is dead. Ian's a dick. And Ron has, I think, it's too easy. It's too easy, but
Well,
number one suspect seems to be Ron's son,
Mm-hmm.
the boxer.
You think so? He got like no shine this whole thing, other
Can't
than his
remember his
small.
name. Well, he's in the
Jason.
photo. Jason.
Oh, he's in the photo.
He's in the
Oh,
photo.
He's in the
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
He's in the photo.
I think you missed that part.
Yeah,
when we
Right.
were
Ron's in the
talking.
photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was
Or
the guy
not,
that
Jason's
she
in the photo.
Jason's in the photo.
No.
Ron's son's in
No.
the photo.
We don't know who Donna recognized.
Oh, she recognized
she-
one of them.
she recognized
and
one
we
of 'em.
know
That is a
Jason's
very
in the
good.
photo?
Yeah.
And we
where-
know that, Chris knows
Who knows
Jason.
that?
Chris recognized Jason because
Yeah.
he's a famous boxer.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Chris also knows that Ron is Jason's son or Jason's
And
father.
is this photo taken in front of the body or left at the crime scene?
Left at the crime scene.
It's
Just
yeah,
left at the
Yep,
crime
yep.
scene.
Yeah, that's not in front of the
makes,
body
makes
because
sense. Makes
because
sense. That makes so much more sense.
the
That's
photo-
true. I
the
not-
photo was Tony
Mm-hmm.
and then his drug dealer friend.
Right. It had
the
never
boxer.
said anything. I just hadn't made that distinction in my head that it's not like a photo in front of the body.
Yeah, no.
It's like a photo of people who, because then obviously then it's a dead giveaway dummy.
My
Yeah.
thing, I don't know. This is my prediction. This is a possibility that's formulating in my head is that his drug dealer friend might have caught word of what was about to happen to him, and I feel like but it's weird because
Oh wow.
Tony got fired. So
Alright.
it's not like
Right.
he could help in the development and his drug dealer friend's like, oh, I need that 25% too. And he sent out a hit, but then he wouldn't get any of the money.
Right.
I don't know.
I got a
I confused
I
myself.
got a fire theory right here. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hit me.
This is who I think it is right now.
Okay.
It just came to me because I was gonna say just Ian because he was the guy that was gonna get killed by
So
him. So,
you
but,
think
but
you
that,
think
that's
okay.
just why I think he got killed. But if it's not, you know who I think it is? Elizabeth. I think that all these Thursday murder clubs, right? She's always the one that wants to be involved and kind of insert herself. Maybe she got bored. Maybe she's like, I'm gonna create this murder. I'm gonna help them even. Right? Doesn't the murderer always return to the scene of the crime? And then I'm gonna see if they can figure out if it was me. I'm even gonna help them.
But what so her motive is just for fun?
Yeah,
Well,
could
it's a
be.
Thursday, right? You're that old. You're doing the same thing. They're not
Could
letting
be.
you in. They're not letting you, obviously, because it's police work, so you don't get to really do the police work. So it's like, okay, since I can't do it, the next best thing will be, can you figure me out? That's like a way,
Maybe.
like.
I'm gonna try and see if she says anything about smoking a cigarette.
You think that has to do something? So you think the initial thing
Imagine
you know what,
that
you-
has nothing to do with it. That's the thing
Right.
that scares me.
it's
But like,
funny-
you gotta take something.
It's funny you say
do
that
something.
because my fiance is also reading along.
She is she keeping
She
up?
is. She's
Okay.
a couple chapters back,
Couple
so she
chapters
can't
back.
tune into the podcast yet. But she is a couple chapters back. But she pointed out, she's like, has anyone mentioned smoking yet? And I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I haven't. And I haven't read anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's got to be that. That's why it was so significant that they put in there, like, smoking's my bad habit.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's interesting because they do all kinds of that stuff. Like there was one highlight that I had that was just like they'll put a random thing in there. Well, let me see. I can't scroll back to it because it's like midway up this page. It was like this guy's. It was geez, I'm on chapter 1
'Cause
now.
Joyce is always drinking.
And they're almost always like telling on themselves, like
Yeah.
almost getting out of the way. Here it is. It says Chris takes a swig of Diet Coke. He sometimes worries he's addicted to it. He had once read a headline about Diet Coke that was so too worrying, so he chose not to read the article.
Yeah. That was so funny.
Like just random, like. But then it's like in these books, that's what makes it's my first time reading a murder mystery,
Same.
so I'm assuming that's what makes them interesting. Because I would be like, right. If you know how the whole book is, and like, how would you not figure it out throughout the course of it? It's probably the only way these things work, or if they send you on a million different rabbit holes,
Yeah.
send you down a million different trails, and only one of them was right the whole time, right? So
Yeah. I think I think these murder mystery books are like, everyone's seen a murder mystery movie
Mhm.
where it's like you can kind of know. It's like, some of them have good twists. I feel like books, like, it just gets crazy,
Yeah.
like incredible, because they can literally
And you can-
force you to go down that tangent because that's exactly what you're reading.
it's the next word on the page. You can't fast forward in the movie. Like you
Yeah.
have to, like, you're stuck on the next word no matter what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you can't. It's as fast as you can read. It's as fast as you can go through that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
So, all right. So you got Elizabeth.
I'm just throwing it out there right now.
You think Elizabeth right now?
I'll recalculate.
It makes sense. I'm gonna go with the same. Honestly.
Oh, that's what
it
you
makes
initially
sense.
thought too, though?
No, my initial thought was like, okay, maybe an outside force, like his drug dealer friend, but like that just doesn't line up. Because if his friend was to kill him, he wouldn't get the 25% of whatever he's building.
Yeah.
So
I'm going big brain with that Elizabeth thing. I don't. It's
no, it makes sense to me. I
Hey,
feel
that's
like
what-
that's something like.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Like
I
she's bored.
initially thought that too.
Yeah.
Just off the riff, I was like, who's so interested about finding out, like, how long does a body take to bleed out,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
that's like,
Yeah, that
That's
was
like-
a big
yeah. I was like,
couple.
who
pages.
is this?
That was,
Yeah.
and that was early. That,
That
was
was, like,
chapter 1.
off
That was
the
like
rip.
page 2.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I think either I have two suspects
Mhm.
right now. I think Elizabeth is too in it, like she's too main character.
Elizabeth's mine. Move on to yours.
Either Penny's husband or
okay.
Father Mackey. Yeah, I know.
That's a good one. That's a good one. He
He's
has
a
lot to
godly man,
lose.
but he ain't that godly.
Yeah.
Why does he not want him to be messing with the bones? Maybe. Why does he not
Ooh.
want him to move the bones?
Oh, do you think there's another murder?
Like maybe
that-
maybe that's his Dexter burial ground.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh
We'll
man.
have to find out.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
we'll find
exciting.
out next week. Maybe.
That's
I
exciting.
think we'll
Okay.
probably
Speaking
find
of
out in-
next week,
in 3
where are
weeks.
we reading? Where are we
Alright.
reading to? Chapter 24,
It's another
Boom.
85 pages.
85 pages.
So
So
it's rough.
160.
It's about 170ish, right? How about
What,
50,
54?
55 or 54?
Oh, okay. No, here you go. There's a part 2. So that's that's literally at the end of 53. So we're
At 153, let's do that. It's
Okay.
On a book like this, it just makes sense to do that
Yeah.
because we can make up any extra pages on a different reading portion. So what page was that you said?
167 is, or 166 is the end.
166.
166?
There you go.
Let's do
What? That is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good
Crazy.
split.
There you go, guys. So if you are reading along, we're gonna be reading from 24 all the way up to part 2, and then we will tell you our part 2 next week, hopefully. But yes, so moving on, we're closing it up. Moving on, fantastic book so far, I think.
Yeah.
But let's move on to
Good
our
one.
short
Give our
snippets.
Short snippets, and let's get out of here.
Short snippets of the week. Who's going first?
Let's kick it off with, I think we got our quote of the day fresh and ready.
All right. Let's go with our quote of the day. And I picked this person specifically because there's been a lot of controversy around his relationship, unfortunately.
Ooh, I'm ready for this. Will Smith, let's hear it.
Money and success don't change people. They merely amplify what is already there. Will Smith.
Will
Shout out to Will
Smith.
Smith. He's
Shout
going
out
through a
Will
hard time, but
Gosh dang.
he's
man.
got it. I believe in him.
dragging his name through the mud. Dude, did you see? Not to, but at J Cole's concert, he didn't say the Jada and That Will Love line.
Oh,
He didn't say-
I didn't see
You hear
He
that?
didn't
That
say it.
that's actually
crazy.
fake news, and it was actually from way back. It wasn't actually recent.
Let's go.
Really?
Fake news uncovered.
Yep.
Wait, like you saw it on
Wow.
Twitter?
Yeah,
I didn't see the fake because they put the fake news thing. Maybe I was scrolling too fast.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
nah, yeah. They said that's not. It's
It's a lie.
because Jay.
I haven't.
She was in another controversy way back.
Yeah.
And that's when he didn't say it.
Yo, no, they were. They've been.
Yeah, it was
I think
something
it's been a
else.
couple of them.
It was something else.
Yes.
It's something. It wasn't even like between them two. It was like something. I think something completely.
It was with.
different,
I think
yeah.
it was
But-
with the Alex Garcia guy with the other famous singer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wait, maybe that's not
August
his name.
Alsina.
August.
Yep.
That's what did I just say?
I mean, you were close, bro.
I just
I
said?
give it to you.
But
on
hey,
that.
Hey, that's what it looks like when you're reading it on your phone at the bottom of the song. It says who wrote this song. It's Alex. What did I say? Alcina.
But there you go.
John Cena?
That's where you just another thing you can't trust what
Yeah.
you hear.
That's
Yeah,
crazy,
no. And
bro.
shame
Yeah.
on me for trying to spread that because I like Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here we go. Fun
Interesting
fact.
though. Good.
Yeah,
Good
well,
fun
I like,
fact.
Yeah, I like.
Great
the fun
quote.
fact.
Or not fun fact. Good
Fun
quote.
fact.
Not fun life for Will Smith right now.
No, but
He's good, man.
He's
he
good.
posted that
Gotcha.
video. He's like, my reaction to this book, and it turned into like this.
Wait, what did he
Warp-
do?
It's,
Uh,
I think it's on his Instagram.
Did you watch it? Or
Yeah,
you
I
never-
just saw it. He's like, my reaction to this book,
What did he say?
and
Is
it,
he level-headed about it?
yeah, bro.
Man.
I'm pretty sure he's good.
You gotta
like,
be at that point. There's no way to win. Otherwise, you end up looking like Scottie Pippen and Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
exactly.
Like, dude, there's
for
no
years.
way to win.
Yeah,
You almost have to take the high
he
road.
needs to get it back in a movie. It's been a while.
I think
he
he's.
should.
I think he's.
He's done.
Well, after the slap, he was blackballed for a minute. Is what the word on the street was. Or if, I mean, of course, also once you're that.
That's in the past.
I
Now-
agree.
Now people, Hollywood's
I
gonna have
agree,
a
but
soft
I
spot for
agree.
Will.
I
Exactly.
agree, but at the same time, why is that the first thing you think of now? No. Like even all these years, maybe not all these years later, but Will Smith, you think the slap on Chris Rock. I
don't know,
still
man.
wish that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just hold I hold him to such a
You hold him higher
Oh,
than
yeah,
that.
I
bro.
mean,
It's
he's a
Will
legend.
Smith,
He's a
bro.
legend.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he's a legend. Jeez,
it was a blemish.
a blemish.
It's a
That's
blemish in his record.
Hey, it's just crazy that the public eye compared to the private eye,
Yeah, exactly.
completely two
Yeah,
different things.
Yeah,
So true.
yeah.
You just never know.
So true.
Everyone can go through it. Even Will Smith is.
Yeah, we're just
exactly,
talking about
bro.
Will Smith is obviously better than the three of us
There you go.
combined.
Will,
yeah.
if you got nothing else on your mind, you can pick up the book club with us.
Yeah, bro.
Well,
Hey,
I'd love to
Hit
have
us
you
up. It would be great.
But
Choice is journal entry. Choice.
on. There you go. Moving on. Fun fact of the day: being alone for a long time is as bad for you health-wise as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Whoa. That's
Mm,
crazy, bro.
You really can, like, your brain and
crazy.
your stuff like that. It's a powerful tool if
Yeah,
you.
man.
It
Human
can work
interaction.
against you, man.
Humans are social creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, not meant to be. And then you see what happens when you are.
Very
when you
true.
when you get isolated for too
Oh
long.
man,
Like, you
a
see what
lot
happens
of
to
people saw
people.
that.
Yeah.
You see what happens. Yeah, you see what happens to yourself, but then you literally see what happens to other people. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're
I
always.
mean, the pandemic really showed that, man.
Right.
Really showed that.
Bro,
but
I was going
there's your
crazy,
fun
bro.
fact of the day. Fun fact
that
of
is
the day.
not fun.
I like
That's
that.
dark fact of the day. That's the unfun fact.
It was
of
a
the day.
dark fact, but it was a fun one.
Fun one to listen to.
I don't know. We may have to change that up. We just have to start calling you fact of the day.
Okay.
That was good. That was good,
It was
though.
a
I
good
really
fact.
enjoyed
I
it.
There
like
you
the
go.
fact. All right, let's end it easy. Since we're doing our Halloween themed book, I'm just gonna do a quick question for you, and we're gonna keep it light. Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, for sure.
100%.
100%.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Oh,
You've never had an
But I bet-
interaction?
Unbeknownst
I hope
to
you
me.
don't.
Oh, you haven't? Bro,
I hope you don't.
you got to go on a haunted tour.
Oh, see, but how much of that stuff?
Hey, you're going to Halloween
Dude,
Horror
I'm
Nights,
going. See,
right?
here's the thing. I guess maybe I'm always gonna believe this because I shelter myself from scary stuff. But that being said, I mean, I also don't believe that ghosts would maybe just be leaving me alone because I'm not seeking them out. Like, I don't think anyone's trying to see a ghost for the most part, or at least if you are trying to see a ghost, maybe in your mind. And I'm just saying this because I can only speak from my perspective. But maybe in your mind you think you saw one, but if you just like most people that see a ghost aren't like, oh, I was hoping to see that ghost.
Oh, of
So wouldn't
course
I have
not.
maybe seen a ghost by now? If
Nah, you would know. You would know. You would know.
I feel,
if
yeah,
it-
I feel like that's
you,
an
you would know.
ingrained.
I had a ghost experience when it was a summer trip for baseball, and we
Uh-oh.
stayed in an abandoned um, school, super old. Yeah, I don't know, man. The coach had some connections in
this
West
is
Virginia.
interesting. Keep going. Keep going.
And
Like,
we
like I said, I
all
haven't
stayed
put
in
myself in
an abandoned school, like basketball court, super old. Like I don't know even how, like just old.
how this got set up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't know. I don't know how we got shacked up in an abandoned
That's
school.
absolutely crazy.
But-
Sounds like more violations than I can count.
Anyways, bunk beds. We're all going to bed, right? Everyone's bed. Lights off. 10 p.m. We're all getting ready for a tournament. Hear running footsteps up and down the hallway, bro. On wooded floors, back and forth, back and forth. Everyone's going out there checking. Nothing. Not a single thing. Go back to bed. Running again.
So you were
swear
all
to you.
You were all accounted
Multiple.
for.
Yes.
You were all accounted for.
Yeah.
You're not even lying to me. Cause you
Promise.
like you no,
Like-
you know you were all accounted for, or you think you were all accounted for. No, that's just a point. That's just a piece of information I'm curious about. Like you all the people that were there, there was no one that would have been playing.
No,
tricks on you
because
guys?
we were all like on different floors. Like there was like two floors, and obviously we were split up in different rooms.
Right.
But like people were. It was running so fast though. Like people would get out and look. Like you would have been caught.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if it was human.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude.
Oof.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I've never experienced anything like
So
that.
but like, so then what? So you ended up going to bed. You conquered that fear. You ended up Did the running ever stop?
Yeah. It stopped. I mean, it only happened probably once or twice, but then that was it.
But I mean, also, it's like at that point, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
What are you gonna do?
I agree with that. But
It wasn't
yeah,
like a demon. Like, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be different. That, bro.
But
Heck no.
no, man. You should try it. Go to like a little haunted tour.
bro, forget that, bro.
You're going to
Forget that.
What are you going to?
If I find out
Haunted
that
Horror Nights
if
or
I
whatever?
find out that horror nights, that Halloween Horror Night at Universal is
Oh,
the
it's
equivalent,
not the same.
it's not the same.
No, it's not at all.
Some
Dude.
of the haunted houses in there are very scary. I will say that. But
For real,
like,
are you a scary person? Are you like scary
mean,
stuff? Because
I've been a couple times to
You've
Halloween
been-
Horror Nights.
have you really?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, we gotta
Yeah.
talk, man, because part of me thinks I'm not actually going now.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get
Just
scared,
go,
man.
bro. Yeah, you're definitely.
Dude,
I would-
I that is the one thing.
It's not
'Cause
like-
I was telling Sam, I have a fight or flight, and it's fight every time. I don't run, dude. If
Is-
I get
is-
if I get legitimately too scared, I just get aggressive.
This is the one at Orlando, right?
Yes.
They shut down the
One of 'em-
whole Universal.
One of them they can touch you, one of them they can't.
I
No,
think.
you know the ones that I'm going to, you can't be touched.
Yeah, you can't be
Okay.
touched
Yeah,
at
no,
Universal.
that ends
yeah.
that ends well for no one.
I feel like those are like more the private haunted
Right,
houses
exactly.
that
No,
do that.
right.
But
Yeah, man.
Bro, what in
No,
the
some
dude,
of them
you're
are
gonna be
actually
You're gonna be scared.
Yeah, bro. And then another layer of it is like it's like a movie studio, quote unquote. So it's like
Oh,
you
Yeah,
get
the-
the smell,
The
and
effects.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
really? Because you,
Bro,
yeah,
it
man, I didn't
smells-
even
some
know.
of those rooms smell like it's terrible. It's like, yeah, did somebody actually die in here?
Yo, this was
You'll have
not.
fun,
This
bro.
was. I don't like this podcast.
Just don't be tense. Don't
But
be
yeah,
tense the whole
yeah.
time.
Bro, I'm gonna be so tense.
Allow
This-
yourself to be scared,
with-
because then
I
that'll like.
can't. I literally,
Hey,
dude. I
the best thing-
literally- you
look,
are freaking me out.
the best
I
thing-
feel like I'm about to jump out of a plane.
Best
But-
thing, it's honestly I'd say pretty equivalent to that though. Like you're on rush,
Yeah,
the
on
entire
edge,
time.
on edge. Yeah.
but you just gotta keep
Ooh.
you just keep moving forward. You just
Yeah.
gotta keep moving forward.
and it's a whole crowd with you too,
Yeah.
depending on which
Bro,
house
my
you're in.
eyes are gonna be closed.
No, dude, you can't because that's even worse.
Oh
man.
yeah, then
Don't close your eyes.
True. Don't close your eyes.
Don't close your eyes.
That sounds like someone that would tell you. That sounds like something that they would be telling me. Don't close your eyes.
Man, I went to
I'm closing my eyes.
I went to one in a barn. Like
Oh,
two-
that's
two
What?
weekends
I
ago.
wouldn't do that.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
are
That's what I'm telling. Tell
freaky.
Sam. She's just. I got. It's
That
all the way
one
tight up
was
here.
so scary.
Some people
Yeah.
got something a little loose.
I
That
went-
was so scary.
You
man,
gotta have.
'cause
You gotta have one of your
those
screws
people
a
are
little
volunteers and they
Yeah.
look for this.
yeah,
They're like, yeah.
the
Well,
one.
Dude, because you got the. What is the? Aren't there legitimate haunted houses to where like you have to sign a waiver and you may not make it out?
No.
I think. I mean,
I
I'm
mean-
sure there's some
I mean,
that you sign a
yeah,
waiver
I
to,
mean,
but
Like obviously Well, like, yeah, they don't try to make you not get out, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have a heart attack or something.
Yeah. See, but that's a possibility. But the worst, bro, the worst one I've ever been to. Not, I'm saying the worst, and like I mean this as the most scary one. It was in, I believe it was St. Augustine, bro. They had a tunnel, right? They got every type of fear out of you, like the smell, the touch sensation, the visuals, everything. So you start the haunted house, you go through this little layer. Immediately, it's like it smells terrible. So after that, once you get through that first part, you go through this inflated tube, and it just like it's so inflated. Yeah, you're like squeezed through it.
Stop.
And soon as you get out, it's an all white room. There's this lady that looks like the Grudge. Her hair is like covering her face, and she's just like walking around in this white room, but it's like strobe lights.
Dog.
Every
Dog.
every couple steps, it's like you don't know where she's at. So like every time you see her, she's like in the corner. She's right next to you. She's over there. Like it was, bro. That was the scariest thing ever.
Dude,
That's
I
crazy.
hate my life.
Yo, have you
right now, bro.
so have you guys ever gone to like makeshift haunted houses or anything?
Oh,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Dude,
for
I've
sure,
been to
yeah.
one haunted house when I was in 6th grade, and that's what happened. They come out, they say, "Oh, what do you want it on? You want it on a scale of 1 to 3. You want it kind of scary, scary, or very scary?" And of course, we were all on the very. It was me and some of my buddies in 6th grade. We had made an agreement that we were choosing one. And it was an agreement.
It's like, you don't
They
like
pop
being-
that door open, bro. Guy says 3. They shut the door immediately. They
Yep.
open it up. They just take your thing. What? 1, 2, 3, 3. I was just like, I'm not
Oh,
going in there.
man.
You don't
Dude,
like being scared.
You're gonna
Dude,
have fun,
I-
bro.
It's not
You're gonna
the fact. It's insulting to hear you say I don't like being scared. I am so more than that.
This might be your
I am
one.
so
How did
more
your
than
wife
that.
convince you to go, bro?
Dude, by
spent-
misinformation
you spent
slash
mad money.
not
Right,
really
yeah,
telling me.
yeah.
No, I mean I still it's
It's
still
gonna be fun.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
no,
fun,
no,
for
I
sure.
can still
But-
see it being fun, but
Once
Yeah.
you get out,
what the heck did I? But honestly, you know what? Because I wouldn't have gone. So now, in a weird way, I would have spent the last 2 months leading up to this day being terrified. Now at least I get it within 24 hours.
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna be.
Man, I can't wait till next podcast,
But I
bro.
told her I'm like,
Yeah,
no. I said
I
there's
want to
a,
be
I
like,
said,
yo, how was it?
I said there's a no, because there's a legitimate chance. I told her I'm like, I'm getting you in the door.
Yeah.
Whether or not I go through that haunted house or not is gonna be up to me. It's gonna be
Hey,
up
it's
to
tough.
me,
I'm
bro.
telling
Yo,
you, bro.
Please record yourself.
How in the world do you think I'm gonna do that?
Just
I'll
hold
be
it in front of
recording
you.
myself, and then you know what's gonna happen?
You're gonna drop
I'm
your
gonna
phone.
throw my phone at someone. It's gonna be I don't go, pop. It's gonna be a weapon. I'm gonna have to be
Yeah, bro.
handcuffed. I'm gonna have to
Telling
be
you, bro.
handcuffed.
Yeah.
You just hope that the person in front of you always gets scared
You know,
first.
And you know what's frustrating? I don't know that I've in my life met someone, or at least all of my friends handle this stuff way better than me. I'm like the only one that legit like I could not watch a scary movie the rest of my life and be totally happy.
Yeah, you've told that
Like,
to me
dude, I
before.
hate scary stuff.
Yeah,
I
man,
refuse
feel
to
that.
do it. I'm only doing it for my wife.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like I hate
That's love.
scary stuff.
love.
So, and honestly, yeah, I love her more than I previously thought, because
Yeah, because I heard Halloween Horror Nights is like the scariest
dude, I was
theme
like,
park one that you can
that
go
is so
to.
frustrating. I was like, oh, it's Universal, right?
Yeah,
it's like
it's movie sets.
scary.
They're movie sets, bro. Like they literally shut down like the studios, dress up the studios, make it as real as possible. It's funny because my buddy just went,
It is
like-
not funny.
but he took an edible before, so I'm
Holy
yeah,
moly,
that's what I
man!
said.
That's
I'm like, bro,
another
you're an idiot.
Dude, would that be better
an
or
idiot.
worse?
worse,
that would
man.
be way
you
worse.
think it'd be
bro.
Way worse.
That would be way worse.
Relax, you do whatever. I'll
Holy,
give me
everything's
the
out there
sleep-
moving.
Give me the
Like-
sleepy one. I'll just be out there.
Yeah, until something scares you.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Woo.
not worried about me. I'm worried about me doing something to someone.
Oh,
But-
man.
Dude,
Anyways,
I'm
do
worried
we,
because legitimately, whenever I get that scared, it's just look away because my other reaction would be something crazy.
does your wife run, or what does she do? Is she like
Oh no, dude, she loves scary stuff.
okay?
No.
My
It's,
my
al-
fiance,
it's always
we
like,
going holding hands. She flies. She
no, no,
runs.
no.
So she's running, and she gets snapped back because I'm
Oh
holding
wait,
her
wait,
hand.
like she's trying to like.
So
get
like
through
if
it
you're going,
quicker?
yeah, if you're going through it, is she one grabbing you or she leaving you behind?
You know what? Tough to commentate on a situation I've never been in
Oh,
because
okay.
I
Here
would
we go.
never put myself in that
There you go.
situation
You're about to
until
find out.
until about 28 hours from now.
I have a feeling that you're gonna leave her. You're gonna run.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance.
We gotta ask her
There's
to
such a
record you.
good chance, bro.
Oh my
I tell her,
God.
I'm like, literally, I'm paying for you to be here, and I want you to have as much fun as you can. Because no, I'm hating every second of this thing. No, I'm hating, not hating it, but I'm gonna be struggling through it.
Hopefully the lines aren't long for him. Because
It's a
I heard the
Wednesday-
lines are
It's a
pretty
Thursday
long. for
night.
him.
That's why
Yeah.
we're going on a random Thursday night. We wanted to go on a weekday night,
Mhm.
and we wanted to go like before it got too close to Halloween, where everyone's getting into town. So
You never
Yeah.
know, bro. It still might be packed.
oh, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
You'd imagine it would be still be pretty packed. Just hoping for less
Yeah.
compared to a Saturday night
Smart.
or a Friday
Yeah.
night.
For sure.
So.
Did we answer your question or your thought?
Yeah, you guys.
Question?
Yeah, you guys both
Yeah.
believe in ghosts, and I do not.
Oh
As-
yeah,
as
there you
it-
go.
Ask me again tomorrow night.
Well, you're not gonna see ghosts there. You're gonna see everything else. But no, man, the freaky
What's the
stuff like
theme?
that when the actual ghosts, you gotta do.
I mean, no, I would never do that. But if that situation happens, that's
The weirdest thing, man, is like when you don't hear them or anything, but it gets cold. It gets really
Mm,
cold.
See, that's
What do
the
you
first sign.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. The
From
first
ghosts?
sign. If you feel that
Yeah.
wisp of cool breeze.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
It's a
like,
ghost.
but that's the first sign, and then what?
It just depends. It depends on.
I guess.
And it depends what type of ghost.
Yeah,
it is,
some
too.
of them. Yeah, it just depends. Yeah.
Some of them
exactly.
what?
Well, some of them will literally like throw marks on you and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll get like all these markings on you that you didn't feel, but you'll go. You
Like bruises type
not
stuff.
like if like I went like this on your arm and you get those
Like
red
a
lines.
scratch or something
Yeah.
like that.
Those scratch and you'll feel cold.
You got the Exorcist one. This
No, dude,
year?
I'm not going to that. Dude, you absolutely, and she doesn't like that stuff either. You're crazy.
Yeah, 'cause
I'll tell you
that's
where
too
I'm
random.
going. It's the.
The kids version.
I wish. I thought.
It's a small town
you know what?
after all.
Yeah, congrats. That's what I thought for the past 2 months. I thought I was going to the kids version of this thing, bro.
You're so toast,
Dude,
brother.
I absolutely cooked.
Hey, you better come
I've
back.
never been caught slipping on
You
live
better
like
come
this.
back.
There's a chance I don't.
You better come
Dude,
back.
what if I have a heart attack?
Yeah, I don't.
My
bro,
conditioning's been down anyways. I'm gonna freak out, bro.
That Exorcist one. I
Dude,
don't
I'm
think
not
I would
going
go
to
in that
that.
one.
I'm not going.
I believe.
I don't mess with the supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
like
I truly believe in that stuff.
You
Like,
believe in
that's
that, but
real.
you don't believe
that.
in
No,
ghosts?
no. I don't believe in it to the point I refuse. Like I won't even mess with it. I won't believe or not believe in it. I won't even touch it. It's somewhere over there.
Right.
It's whatever. Like
But you acknowledge it.
I acknowledge that I will not go near it.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, man.
All right. Well, a little bit of a tangent, but hey, it's Halloween episodes. If you guys are still listening, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you bookmark, like, subscribe, all of our future shows and episodes. But other than that, part 2 is coming up next.
You might see his whole head next episode.
Yeah, and you might not
You know
even,
he pulls that thing off.
it might just be Miguel and I next episode.
Yeah,
we'll find
he
out.
might be laying down on this.
Everyone,
couch.
guys, go wish Landon. Hopefully he makes it back. But until next time, guys, peace.